A lot of people are exhausted before the workout even starts because every single move just feels loaded. And what I mean by that is like one meal feels like proof, or one workout feels like a test. A missed day feels like a failure. And here's the thing, health stops feeling supportive and it really starts feeling this emotionally draining of your mental and your physical battery. And I know that feeling because there have been seasons where a choice, it just never felt like a choice. It's like this workout just felt like it had to be something serious, like I was proving something. A good day was supposed to be like, oh my gosh, I'm finally changing. A rough day, it felt like, man, there's something bad about it. I'm off. I'm not doing the right thing. And what you end up doing is you're creating a pressure that even makes simple habits feel super hard. Have you ever felt that way? The problem is it's not only the habit itself, but it's really the meaning that you attach to all of those things. So once every move starts carrying this emotional weight, your procrastination will get stronger. Your guilt and your regret will start to feel a bit louder to you. And the consistency, it gets harder to hold, And so we're going to talk about some of these things today, and I'm going to share a few stories with you. And if you're tired of feeling like every health choice just carries so much pressure for you, head over to talktoperry.com. So many of us, we bounce from thing to thing to thing all day long, draining our mental and physical battery like we are a 6-year-old smartphone with 2% battery life and no charger in sight. And I want to help you recharge. I want to hear your goals. I want to find out what things you're working through, what struggles you're going through, what are becoming an energy drain for you. And we can sort through those things and just make the process feel like you can build a way forward and feel steadier toward your goals and an easier way to stay with that so that you can recharge your battery and reclaim your power. That's over at talktoperry.com. So one thing I had to notice is just from years and years and years is just how quickly I can turn a small moment into a big story. I could create a whole narrative around it. I've got so many movies swimming in my head just because a moment happened and I would develop a big thing about it. Like I would miss a workout and it would become this whole narrative about falling off track. Or, I'd say one off meal, but it usually tended to be over a weekend. So several off meals. And those could really feel like, man, I am just dragging and I'm not sticking with my plan. I feel like I'm starting over every Monday. And if I wasn't careful, that event, or maybe a few little events, the meaning of it just stayed for longer and longer than it really needed to. And that's where a lot of people lose their energy, and they feel like they're off track. Here's a reframe for you. A workout can just be a workout. A missed meal or an off weekend can just be a missed meal or an off weekend. A miss can just be a miss. That sounds simple, but it changes a lot when you keep things simple that way. Because once a person stops turning every single moment into this big verdict, they recover faster, they think more clearly, they stop wasting so much energy on this emotional cleanup. And I think that happens to a lot of people when they really want to badly change. They care so much that every choice starts to feel symbolic. They'll overthink everything. They'll go back to the drawing board over and over again. And they want the workout to mean that they're committed, right? The meal to mean I'm finally disciplined. I'm sticking with that salad, right? They want the week to really mean that, man, I've leveled up. I'm a different person. But the thing that I've discovered is that kind of pressure, it can create hesitation if you're not aware of it. I mean, this is why I'm helping you become aware on this podcast. A person can start avoiding the very thing that they would like to have help with and get good at because there's so much emotional baggage that becomes so big. So what helped me was learning to lower the meaning and just raise the steadiness to it. I mean, just learning what is the next best choice. So if I felt like skipping a workout, or maybe I missed a workout, the next best choice is I'm showing up for that workout again tomorrow. I'm not going to look at it and beat myself up and go, gosh, I got to start all over. I'm just, what's the next best choice? And it could be like, well, I'm going to at least have a healthy meal today. Just doing those sort of things, it doesn't carry the same drama. It keeps the day moving forward. Okay, this happened. What to do next? You see this in sports teams, typically. I know that there's some the people and the players that if they have a bad play, they make an error, make a mistake, they forget about it and move on. What did Ted Lasso say? Be a goldfish, forget about it. Just what's the next thing that to keep it moving forward? Don't put a big story around it. And another thing I learned is when every move, when it has to mean so much, your setbacks, they start to last a lot longer than they should. And that's one reason why I feel people feel like they're always restarting. I'm back on the wagon again, and they'll make that story last a long time. So if they get off track for a few days and they promise themselves they'll get back started on Monday, but then their eating was off on it just adds up into a bunch of these little things that they could have course corrected, but they don't. And now they're coming back to restarting again a month later, 2 months later, maybe a year later. And the thing is, you're not only dealing with a missed workout or an off weekend, you are actually dragging that weight around with you, making it bigger than it needs to be. Yes, your habits and your standards matter. But one moment does not need to carry your whole identity with that, right? And this is where just a little bit of, we'll call it emotional maturity. It can really help the fitness more than people realize, because you can just let it be, let a good choice be a good choice without it having to be a hero moment. A rough choice can just be a rough choice, be a goldfish, right? That skill, it protects your momentum. So when every moment, every move you're making means so much, the journey can feel harder than it needs to be. And when we get going on a journey, we want it to stay for a long time, and we don't want it to be heavy. We don't want it to be challenging. I know when you're overweight, overwhelmed, overworked, at the beginning, it's challenging. And when you add these things on it, well, you're making it even more so. So when you just allow, and you make one intentional choice at a time, the pressure drops, your recovery is faster, and the whole process just feels like you're more in flow. Be in flow. That's where consistency gets stronger. You've got this, my friend. I'd love to hear your top takeaway from today. You can drop those down in the comments. I promise I will reply. You absolutely rock, my friend. And as always, remember, it's never too late. We'll see you next week. That's another Power Blast podcast in the books. Thanks so much for tuning in. And remember, when you are ready to recharge your battery, make sure you go to talktoperry.com. That's talktoperry.com. That's Perry. And I want to listen. I want to hear, what's going on. I want to help you in that 15-minute call to recharge your battery and reclaim your power so that you're off and running and creating massive momentum toward your dream. Also, every day, I am delivering more motivation, support, tips, and strategies inside my free community with amazing people like yourself. And we are conquering the mindset and the fitness. I do 52 weeks of free training in there, plus I coach and I mentor people, as well as give you access to tons of resources and guides. It's called my Upside Down Fitness community because we work on a lot of mindset stuff, the inside stuff, and we're a fun group of people striving to make healthier habits in this awesome chapter of life. So make sure you get in there. I promise you'll absolutely love it. Just head over to upsidedownfit.com and you can get into the group. And hey, you would be an awesome friend if you get over to iTunes or wherever you listen to your podcast and leave an honest rating and review for the Power Blast podcast. It helps awesome people like you find the show even faster, and that's who I'm looking for, awesome people like you. That's all I have for this week, my friend, and just to let you know, you absolutely rock. That's all I have for this week. I'll see you on the next Power Blast podcast, and always remember, it's never too late. We'll see you next week.